I've applied to literally hundreds of jobs at this point, as you can imagine.
You feel like, what am I doing wrong?
It's still really tough to get interviews right now.
It's still very tough.
If you can't find a job right now, you're not alone. We keep hearing that software engineering is supposed to be the safest bet out there. And yet, most people I know haven't even been able to land a tech interview.
There's so much competition out there, and you just really gotta stand out.
In this video, I'm going to share some valuable advice from aspiring software engineers that I got a chance to sit down and chat with. They had some great insight about dealing with rejection, staying motivated in a tough job market, and even how to stand out from the competition. The first piece of advice came from Aaron. This is Aaron. He's a bootcamp grad who's applied to over 700 jobs, most of which never got back to him.
My name's Aaron. I was a teacher in a former life of martial arts. Worked with kids with autism as well. And, I was a recent boot camp grad, so new to tech. And, I've applied to literally hundreds of jobs at this point, as you can imagine. But I've had also wins as well. I've had, I'd say probably a greater than average. But yeah, it's definitely difficult to get responses other than, we were moving forward with other candidates.
There are a lot of people like Aaron that don't come from a traditional computer science background, which can sometimes make it harder to get your foot in the front door. If this is the case for you, you really want to optimize your strategy by making it as easy as possible for recruiters to actually see your resume. This means you might need to do some application hacking. Okay, that sounds super intense, but I didn't mean hacking in the bad way. Just the friendly, borderline, increase your odds type of hacking. So first off, pick the right jobs to apply to.
Definitely certain websites I felt like I got better responses from as well. Like LinkedIn is a tough one for me. Like, I don't know that I've really gotten much except for maybe one, maybe two jobs. So I think other platforms do a better job as far as, maybe just filtering the amount of people, probably so you're competing a little bit less. And also probably applying for jobs that are like more recent, or maybe you shouldn't apply to jobs that are posted like 10 days ago, 20 days ago.
Not only did Aaron pick platforms that he was getting responses from, but he was only applying to the jobs that had the least amount of applicants. And he was trying to apply to these jobs as soon as they were posted. This is really important to know because it is a numbers game at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if you have amazing skills, it just matters if you have the best skills compared to everyone else that's in the pool of applicants that are applying. When I was applying for big tech jobs back in the day, yep, that's me, I had to use similar tactics to get my foot in the door. One strategy that I accidentally stumbled upon was applying to the Microsoft office in Atlanta. I had lived in Atlanta for 6 months, so a recruiter actually reached out to me to see if I'd be open to joining that location in Atlanta rather than going to the Redmond office. Something as tiny as location can make the biggest difference. I found out that the competition was a lot more intense in a place like Redmond than it was in Atlanta, especially because the Atlanta office was opening for the first time. In Atlanta, they were still searching for talent in that area because it wasn't a big tech hub yet. So look for opportunities wherever you can find one. It's the sum of all small opportunities that will eventually give you your big break. However, it is important to acknowledge how difficult it is to still get a job. You may already be using a lot of these strategies and still not finding much of anything. Just take it from Saloni. She's applied to over 2,000 jobs and she's only gotten 7 responses back, despite having a really solid experience.
So I've been actively applying for jobs, I think, over a year now. It is actually very difficult to get an interview right now. And what I've been doing is I've been applying online, I've been networking, and I printed out my resume. I've been going to career fairs and giving out my resumes. I'm trying to market myself basically. I have applied to around, I think, 2,000 jobs, but I am not getting interviews.
So this can be the most unmotivating part of the process. Spending the majority of your effort to apply for jobs, interview, and even create multiple versions of your resume without actually getting a job, it's exhausting. I know, I've been there. I remember feeling so hopeless when this happened to me. Like I wasn't good enough to do anything. And now I know I wasn't actually the only one.
You feel like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why am I not getting where I should get? And it is like driving on a dark road. Like, you just have to drive. You don't have to think too much about it. Maybe, hopefully, I'll land somewhere. And something that I also want to share is that during my informational interviews, I talked with people who graduated in the 90s, 80s. And I also talked with people who graduated 2 years ago. And surprisingly, everybody told me that the job market was so bad when they were graduating. It was so difficult for them to get their first job. And I think none of them are lying. It's just difficult to get your foot into the market. And this is something I tell myself, that you just have to keep going and just take help. Just go for therapy. Please go for therapy.
And she's right, honestly. We have to stop telling people the narrative that getting a job used to be a breeze. I got my first software engineering job in 2018, and trust me, it was not easy. I even had my school's career fair at my disposal, but it was still really difficult to get hired at the time. So what does one do when your chances are really slim for getting hired? Aaron, another Aaron, said it best.
Definitely, just going back, this grit, just keep applying, because that's all you realistically can do. If you're not getting interviews, maybe spruce up your resume, try to reach out to more recruiters, engineers on the companies you want to work with, see if you can get a referral like that. That could boost your chances. I would say you gotta go times 100 to really even be able to get that first interview or such. There's so much competition out there, and you just really gotta stand out.
You just have to keep moving forward at the end of the day. It can be a tough process and it can harden you to the job market, but connecting with others that have similar experiences to you will help you cope with rejection. You're not going through this alone, and you don't have to. Eventually, things will get better and jobs will start opening up again. You just have to hold on to hope. I know you can do it. I believe in you guys. Oh, and if you're interested in hearing more about software engineering content, feel free to check out my latest video. And with that, good luck.